So why don't you tell us a little bit about how to vet an attorney in the DR? You know, here in the States, we go to law school, got to pass the bar exam. There's a background check, there's a criminal check. We're registered with the bar. We got to do CLEs every year to keep our legal understanding, our legal knowledge up, right? Is there a database down there? And how does one go about finding and vetting a DR attorney?
You can absolutely, there's the equivalent of a bar association here, where you can check if an attorney is registered, licensed attorney is registered. Also, you can ask the attorney to show their credentials. They have to have an ID that says abogado, so you can check that. But in the case of most people, they don't want to go to add that to all that they're doing, so they'll just go to recognized firms. You have firms that are known in the country, reputable firms, and that's always the best thing to do. Go to a reputable firm because you know this firm is registered with the state and thereby required to have licensed and attorneys that offer the kind of services established by the law. That's the other thing. It guarantees that you're not going to get an attorney that's going to get creative.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to be creative when we're overseas.
You have to operate under the limits of the law. So going to a reputable firm is always, a firm that is known, and you could always tell. I mean, they're on the internet, they're informative. You see that they, like in our case, we do conferences, we have a YouTube channel, we're out there. So these are firms that you can, that you can absolutely feel safe about dealing. And the other thing is, it's important to establish conditions and costs in the beginning. I think that in order to avoid issues with an attorney, the communication, it should always be written. You should always have emails. Not all attorneys do it.
She said written and in email. Make sure it's in written. Understand the fees up front.
Yeah, because in our initial email, for instance, we list all of the services, what is covered, what is not, what is the cost. We provide the approximate timeframes. Now, once a person makes the initial payment to retain us, that's legally binding. That email is legally binding because it talks, because when we're talking about, people overseas, because most of my clients retain me without being in the country, that's legally binding. Here it is. So that email detailing services, what you're promising, what your cost is, okay, is binding once that first payment is made. So I think that's important. The communication is important. And I'll tell you what happens a lot of times with lawyers, and that's a little bit the mentality in the country where they're working on the file and it's a need to know basis. My clients want to know everything. They want you to write to them.
I'm like, I spend so much money overseas. I'm getting ready to do a big, huge real estate investment. I need to know everything. I need to know where we're at. It's not something I can just walk down the street, or drive downtown and meet with my attorney, right? It's like, you got to keep me informed.
You got to let me know. And that's something I've helped we've worked on vigorously, because it's not that your attorney is not working. The problem is that the communication is not what you would like. Listen, one of the reasons, and I have to say this, that our firm is so sought after, it's not because we're better than anybody else. It's because we are expats. We've been through the process that our clients are going through. So we understand all of the anxiety. We understand, that besides the process that you go through, that checklist, finances, legal status, blah, 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 there's the emotional process you go through. So that makes us empathetic, and thereby we go the extra mile. What do I mean by this? I can't tell you how much time I dedicate to talking my clients off of a ledge every once in a while.
It's sometimes I get it. I appreciate that.
It's the truth. I went through so much to move down here, even people criticizing it, and they were just giving me so much stress. By the time I got here, I needed to be like done for. I couldn't deal with people. I needed to just like reset. So I get that. And I think that's what makes us valuable to the expat community internationally, our empathy. We are one of you. You guys are the before and we're the after.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. So Maria Abreu and Associates is one of the
Abreu and Associates, you could take the Maria out.
okay, Abreu and Associates. This is Maria Abreu, but it is Abreu and Associates, right? As a top law firm that it has expats who can walk you through the process and has not only the knowledge, the legal knowledge, the business expertise, but the empathy that you're going to need as well operating overseas. So